Hi, and welcome to the Heart of Little Rock. I'm Simone Lewis.
And I'm Kevin May. We've got a great show lined up for you. We'll have some growing tips and kitchen tips to save time and money and help you better use the space you have. But before we get to that, let's take a look at an organization that is extremely efficient with the donations it receives. So Simone, how much would you say you spend on each meal?
Well, I could probably do breakfast or lunch for $3 or $4, but dinner would definitely be $10 or more.
What if I told you that the Arkansas Foodbank can provide 3 meals for just $1?
Well, Kevin, I'd say that's pretty amazing.
Well, we talked to some of the employees at the Arkansas Foodbank, and they gave us an inside look into their warehouse and their mission to show us how this was possible.
The Arkansas Foodbank is a resource for agencies like soup kitchens, food pantries, and churches. Outreach Coordinator Polly Deems explains that quantity is important, but it's really the quality that makes the difference.
One thing we're trying to do here at our food bank, and I think it's a trend across the country for other food banks with our member agencies, is we're trying to improve the quality and the health factor of the food that we are getting out into the community. And one way we're able to do this, like I mentioned before, is we have a cooling system here, and we're able to bring in fresh fruits and vegetables, which because of the expense, a lot of times that's what leaves people's diets first. We're also able to bring more meats in and breads and fresh things that we can get out into the community.
So how is all of this possible?
And I use a lot of volunteers here at the food bank to work in the agency mart to stock the shelves. I have a very good set of regular volunteers Monday through Friday that do that between 9 and 4. I also bring in volunteers as groups from organizations, businesses, schools, and we put them back in our warehouse in our salvage room, and they take in what's donated, and we have to break it down into certain categories and box it and then put it on our warehouse floor.
Speaking of the warehouse, it's a 75,000 square feet facility that plays a major role in getting food out into the community. Warehouse manager Myron Jackson tells us that in this case, size really does matter.
Well, the size is approximately 75,000 square feet. Food we get here, we get all different types of food from all around the United States. We have our own truck that does retail pickups here locally, and we also have stuff that we purchase or that's merchandise that's donated that also comes through these doors. So about anything you can think of, we get. Before we moved here, we didn't have shelves or racks that we could store food. Now that we do, we can go up 5, 6 levels high, and that allows us to be able to store and stock more food. And that has been one of the greatest features here.
The warehouse distributes about 75,000 pounds of food a day. Without the help of dedicated and hardworking volunteers, this would not be possible.
Volunteers, great. You got to have good people, that's for sure, to help get out the food and to service the customer. But I think we got a real good staff here, and everybody does their part.
The warehouse is probably the most important aspect of the food banks, and it runs like a well-oiled machine. The miscellaneous sounds that you hear is a sign that a child will go to bed with a full stomach thanks to the volunteers at the Arkansas Food Bank.
The Arkansas Food Bank really has quite a large mission. Right now, we're going to focus on just one part of that mission, how it impacts the children. Joining us is the Chief Development Officer, Roger Simon. Roger, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So I want to get into hunger because I know it's a pretty big issue in Arkansas.
Yes.
How does it affect children?
Certainly, it's some painful information, if you will. Over 28% of the children in our state, that's more than 200,000 of them, and 21,000 alone just in Pulaski County, are living with an uncertainty. There's 19 counties where 1/3 or more of the children are dealing with issues about hunger. Now, I don't know what it was like for you when you were young, but I did not have to worry when I was a child about, am I going to eat tonight? That is not the sort of thing that should occupy the mind of a child. A child should be thinking about school, should be thinking about play, should be thinking about other things, not is there going to be food on the table. And here's some of the things that really show up as the problem. Children who are not well nourished face serious developmental issues. Poor nourishment can affect them in school. They're going to be sick more often. They're going to miss more time from school. There's going to be higher medical costs for them. parents are going to have to miss more work just to take care of that child. So you take a look at what's going on there, and there is this domino effect that's happening. This is serious. Children are more likely to get low grades, and it hurts future schooling opportunities, and more important, it also affects earning potential down the road. Now, the other thing that's been going on in our state is we've seen a serious increase of those that are not eligible for benefits, those who earn over 185% of the poverty level, also needing food assistance, and these are children. And that's been very serious. In Arkansas, 32% of those 200,000 children are not eligible for any form of assistance. So somehow those families are just barely trying to get by, and unfortunately, not always making it.
So this is assistance as in for food or medical costs? Or?
Well, what happens is every single month, there's these decisions that need to be made within the home. Can I feed my family? Can I pay the heating? Can I pay the cooling? All the different sorts of issues there. And what we often try to give on is the food. We don't buy as good a quality of food. We buy higher fat content. We buy foods that aren't as necessary. We skip things to try to make it happen, and we pay for it later.
So I read somewhere that childhood hunger is directly, can be a direct cause of childhood obesity. And with what you mentioned here, is that true?
It is, and it's strange for a lot of people to get a handle on, because you think, how can a person be so heavy and also be dealing with issues of hunger? Well, what happens is that when we're dealing as a family with how do we make ends meet, we realize we cannot afford fresh fruits and vegetables. If you go to the grocery store, take a look at those prices, they're pretty high. So what we do is we create the sensation of fullness by going with foods that are high calorie and high fat. You get a sense of feeling full. What happens then is the stomach says, I'm full. The stomach isn't paying attention to nutrition. The stomach is just sort of saying, yo, I'm full. And that's when suddenly we're going to feel it again. And the other thing that happens is that families have a way of going in and out of food insecurity, as we refer to it. And that means that when food is available, there's binge eating that occurs in that household. You eat as much as you can. When you've got those ups and downs occurring, you end up with serious problems. You end up with weight gain. Again, you end up with issues of obesity.
Wow. So what are some of the programs that you work with that are working to end the cause of childhood hunger?
Well, let me just answer, not just in terms of what we're doing, but some of the things that are out there. Arkansas has gone above and beyond, and I commend them for that. The nutritional standards for the school breakfast and the school lunches and the snack programs are above the USDA standards. That's excellent. When we have such a problem, we have to do things like that. Recreation is necessary. Sometimes we just need to get out and do things. And also other things that can be done, these are very simple solutions. Put in a garden. Put in a garden. Grow some fresh vegetables. If you can't do it in your yard, do it at your church. If you can't do it there, perhaps there's an empty site in your neighborhood. There's all different things. Other things that we're doing, others are doing, are summer feeding programs. There's programs that are going on throughout our state to feed children for free during the summer, whether it be in a park, at Boys and Girls Clubs, all sorts of places. They nourish children, they provide recreation, they provide fun. And those are happening. During the school year, we have the summer breakfast, we have the breakfast programs and we have the lunch programs. Those are for free or reduced prices, depending upon the eligibility of the family. Also, the Arkansas Foodbank will be piloting a program this summer called Cooking Matters, where we will be working with some families, not just the parents, but the entire family, working in the grocery store, helping them learn how to shop effectively to be able to get more fruits and vegetables in their diet, helping them by cooking at the food bank. We'll teach cooking skills there. We'll help them take the food home so that they can become more efficient at cooking healthy and eating healthy. Some of the most important things that need to be done, though, is that our government is a chief way for us to have assistance. The SNAP benefits. SNAP used to be known as food stamps. It's now called SNAP. It's the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That is one of the things that we can do is to get people enrolled in those programs. Those things are possible. WIC for children and for parents. We need to do these kinds of things. There's all sorts of ways we can do that, whether it's the summer feeding program, Boys and Girls Clubs, all these different things. Plus we also have, along with Rice Depot and many other food banks in the state, we have take-home programs over the weekends where we give children some snack food where they can be able to have something to eat.
All right, well, we want to thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
And if you would like to volunteer with the Arkansas Foodbank or to learn more about them, visit their website, arkansasfoodbank.org. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll be talking about some time and money savers in the kitchen and how to reuse old containers to grow fresh produce. Stay tuned.